Boys love fantasy boys. I think we should just get right on the episode, not do any banter, not do any check-ins of like what anyone did this weekend.
Oh yeah, I wasn't busy at all.
Not the non-existent wig.
Wig?
Welcome back to Boys Love Fantasy Boys. I guess I'll have to ask you, Adam, how was seeing Tomorrow by Together?
It was wonderful. It was great. They are an alt for me.
The point of alt is having one.
They're one of my alts, you know. I saw them at Lollapalooza last year, but I did not get to see them at their concert when they came because the venues were so small, famously. So I got to go to the Atlanta shows this weekend, and they were great. I mean, no real surprise there, but it was a great weekend. So,
did people like the show?
What? Did people like the concert?
Yeah.
I feel like
you felt like people had like a good time.
Yeah, I felt so. Yeah,
That was good.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody like leaving. I did see Asa saying like get kicked out. Like she had the camera and everything.
He told me the story. He like immediately remembered it. We were in the middle of traffic and was like, I saw saying they got their camera taken. I can't believe I didn't tell you about it. How do they
get the cameras in? Someone explain to me, if you know, how they get the cameras into a venue in which they check everything when you walk in. And it looked like those cameras that they used in like the visual challenge.
Oh, yes.
Where they were it's like the longest barreled.
Yeah. Well, we're back with Boys Love Fantasy Boys. We are in the heat of the teamwork challenge.
I would say you're in heat. Yes, that's what I would say.
I wouldn't say, was I in heat this episode?
Not this episode, but from some photos that they dropped.
Just in general?
No, the Hanbin boyfriend photos.
Oh. I have been in heat for Hanbin boyfriend vibes.
Yeah.
And then Daeyeon was like, I can do boyfriend too. And so he's on his bed reading manhwa.
Oh.
Being a little cutie, like just being like.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cute. Nerd energy, but you just know that there's a man underneath there. Okay.
A real man.
So the episode starts with Energetic by 101.
Hyunbin Gyure, Seokhi Doohyun, Jaemin, Kang Daehyun. 6. And then their 7th member was originally Hayato. So they get into the gig. Immediately
they get right into the gig.
Immediately, everyone's like, well, Gyure's probably going to have the hardest time because it's Gyure. And he ends up like picking up pretty quickly, and the rap is like his speed. Like he is able to do it.
Because he knows the choreo.
Because he already knows the choreo. Like he's prepared for the song.
Everyone knows Energetic.
Everyone knows it except for Miss Daehyun.
You're right.
Miss Man.
Mr.
I
would say Mr. Daehyun.
Mr. Daehyun.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. He was like, my big flaw is that I don't pick up choreography really fast. Everyone already knows it. I think they have 2 days to prepare for the midterm, and then like either a day or 2 days to prepare for the mission. That's crazy, right?
I promise you, RJ, nothing on this show makes sense. Literally nothing.
Because Boys Planet was not a 2-day turnaround time.
No, because they were actually doing it in real time. It was a week.
Yes. Here it's like, okay, 2 days, but each day is like 5 a.m.
And
to
then we
5
finish
a.m.
the semester, and then you get a break because then people will come back with like new hair.
Yes. But here it's like
Santa went on his he had like a meet and greet or whatever that had already been planned. Yeah.
Daehyun was not picking up, so he was not doing well. And so there were a lot of mistakes. He had a lot of mistakes in the midterm.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was finally time to vote,
the narrative was very like, we're getting rid of, like, they got to get rid of Daeyeon because like he was so bad. And then you turn around, they perform.
They show the performance.
And you realize that they got rid of Hayato.
They got rid of Hayato. And in a very All-Stars fashion, where it's extremely. Like, let's talk to the bottom 2 so we can see like if I should save them or I should vote the other person.
Why do you get to stay?
Why do you get to stay? Naisha Lopez crying that I want this. This is my passion. It's giving Katya being like, party. All Stars 2 was so good. It really like changed the game.
But
here's the thing. I love the concept of All Stars, the girls coming back, getting a second chance at redemption. I think once a year is too much.
We're not talking about Drag Race.
We're not going to talk about that because we're here to talk about why everyone hates Hyeontae.
I don't think they hate him. I don't think it was as bad as like the Bum June, like literally running away from Bum June last episode. It was just more surprising because they didn't show any of it.
They don't show any of it, which is so crazy. Which you'd think they would because this would be eaten up.
Yeah, they show it after they perform, the little package of like why they got rid of Hyeontae, which was basically
it was like Seokhi and Daehyun being like, I just don't like working. Like, it's so tiring to be with him too.
Yeah.
It seems like he's like whiny.
Shout out to the whiny community.
Yeah.
As a member, as a gold star member of the whiny community.
Because it happened in the last mission too, where he the examples here were like he wasn't getting more lines. They showed that little clip of them practicing and he was on his phone.
Yeah, because they get to have their phones, unlike Boys Planet.
Spoiler alert at the end of the episode, when Hayato's ranking is revealed, the reaction is so funny because it's...
No one like is thrilled. No. It's very weird.
It's so funny.
The energy is very
silent. Weird. But anyway, they perform Energetic. And Adam, what do you think?
For a song called Energetic, I felt like it was low energy. I wasn't like, oh, this is one of the best performances on the show. I thought it was fine.
I think like watching that full cam, they looked great. Like they looked really cohesive. I love the hand performance. That was my favorite part.
You have a hair on your mic. All right.
What?
First of all, there was no hair in your face.
Just gonna... The choreography of Energetic is so funny because it has that cackety cack. And then the like weird like time... But like they're doing that little twirl in front of their crotch, and then it starts with an organ tableau. It's just like so wild. We're going through just so many images.
We watched like a music show performance of Energetic that 101 did, like, what did it say, 5 years ago?
Yeah.
6 years ago? That's crazy. I mean, I gotta say, they really nailed it with those members.
I know, it's very well balanced for an 11-person team.
But 101 was the one that was rigged, right? She was Rigamorous. There's always Rigamorous. If this is the teamwork challenge, how do you think the teamwork was with this team?
I felt a strong sense of teamwork here. I think Daehyun, to me, was the weakest.
I think he was too.
He was just like a beat, not even like late, but the vocal coach has said it, of like, you don't sound like you're like excited about rapping. Like it just doesn't sound charged. Like it sounds like you're like catching up.
Yeah. Who is your, if he's your weakest link, who was your favorite?
Boy?
Yeah, strong boy.
My strong boy, I think Daehyun. He sounded really good.
He sounded
and even though Seokhi
stable.
had like Daehyun, it was like in his range, perfect amount of lines. Like he just like shined, and because he is shorter than everyone, I felt, and like had lighter hair color. Finally, we're getting new hair colors from people. He stood out to me, which is crazy because he's also stood out in the one before too.
So he better be in year 12. Well,
she better be on here. Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna yell about that later. Don't worry. I think Daeyeon is the weakest. I think my favorite was Jaemin because watching it back,
you are like I feel like you pick out Jaemin more than I do.
I just thought, especially in this performance, when I watched the full cam, he's the only one that's like in the face performing. I would say if you've ever done theater and you have the like direct or whatever, you've done any type of performance and the person who's like running it is like, give me 110%. I felt like most of the group was at like 85, 90. Like they were like there.
Yeah.
And it was like a good night. It was a good showing, but it wasn't like he was the only one that I felt was like really
performing.
Yes, present. Because I just felt like I could see them counting, which is tough. I thought this was Gyure's best performance.
Yes.
I don't dislike Gyure. To be clear, I think it's okay. It's underbaked. I really try to not I mean, this is going to sound so stupid, but like, I try generally not to be super negative, and I'm sure it bothers people that watch the show sometimes because it may feel like I'm hedging what I'm saying so that I don't say something mean. But I generally just like, I don't care enough to like get angry about it. Either like it or I'm just like, oh, it's not for me, and that's okay.
Exactly.
That's what I feel like.
So you should listen to that.
No, live your life. They got 3060 points, by the way. 3060.
We are graced once again to see Sugar Rush Ride, because if you forgot, and then they just played the full camp version of it. Essentially, no cuts to.
Right, they played the edited.
They played the edited full version. No cuts to the audience.
No cuts.
No reaction.
No
cuts.
reactions. Yeah.
Why did they do this?
This show's bad. Objectively, the show is bad.
Because
this is so clear that they're like, please don't forget that these people are still on the show because these are the ones that we want in the final group. So we have to show them twice. What?
That's already a benefit that they just got.
Because, okay, so I can tell you what happened. So in their idea, they had to show them again because they hadn't shown their score, and the last episode they couldn't show their score because their score came after Energetic. So it would have been clear.
So then they shouldn't have just
they shouldn't have shown
the
Energetic last week.
Or they shouldn't have shown Sugar Rush Ride last week, and just if you wanted to tease us, they should have just teased it.
Why are we seeing it twice? It does win. Listen, I just got back. So I have a very different standard for my Sugar Rush Ride, but why? For what? I did like, the only thing that we got out of this was when they were waiting for their scores, they asked hyeontae, like, do you know anything about love or whatever? And he was like, no, I'm too young. The Mangnaes are so aware that they are young.
Thank God. Oh, he said, but I learned what love is from my Hyungs. And everyone was like,
the Nunas were screaming.
The Nunas were losing their
audience.
Shit. And they're like, and Hyeontae said Songmin.
I knew it. As soon as he had to name one, I was like, it's going to be Songmin. Oh, that was 3390. They're officially in first place. My first and last.
Bumjun's group. Bumjun, Daniel, Sangwoo, Kyuhyun.
Yep.
3 rappers, 1 Daniel.
1 Daniel.
3 rappers, 1 Daniel. 3 rappers, 1 Daniel. And they did not do well on their midterms at all.
They felt like they gave up.
Yeah.
They should not have this concept. Luckily, they get members that like make it fine.
Yeah. But they were struggling.
But like the 4 of them, I think Daniel to a lesser extent, I think he's fine.
And genuinely though, I did think that Sangwoo was genuinely trying. But
I do think that too, but
he never gets the lyrics every time they get to midterms. He always forgets lyrics. So I wonder if the rappers are just like, because they're rappers, they're like, we're just used to writing raps, not memorizing songs. You know what I mean?
Maybe. They add Irang, they add Kaden, and they add a Hayato.
3 very strong additions. I mean, they all fit the concept, you'd say. I mean, Hayato.
Conceptually, they are strong additions.
I think so. And finally balance it out. And I think Bumjun was very appreciative and like could see like once Kang Irang is here, it's like, oh, thank God.
During the they were like watching the other midterms happen and they were like, oh, I hope we get Sungmin. Girl, you're going to get the one that doesn't do well in the group or doesn't fit.
Pay attention to that part.
Right. I mean, I think they got probably the best case scenario.
The best case scenario, for sure.
I like how Daniel helped pick their leader.
Sangwoo was the leader. Bumjun will probably have a lot of opinions that we won't agree with. So I'm just going to pick Bumjun's because we know Sangwoo could.
He literally is like, let's just go with the path of least resistance. Let's just make it Bumjun so there's no argument.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's efficiency.
That's efficiency, girl.
That's great.
My first and last? My first and last. We just watched the music video. We had never seen it before.
What the fuck? Okay, let's talk about the music video of My First and Last.
What did they do to Mark Lee's hair?
What did they do to Mark Lee's hair? Fried.
Did they electrocute Marky?
I could not believe what I was looking at.
So Adam has seen, we've both seen 127, but you've seen NCT Dream. And it's literally night and day, isn't it? Like they don't.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the whole concept of Dream is they're like the soft, like They're the like teenage heartthrob ones.
Yes.
What did I think of this performance? I thought Irang absolutely killed it. I thought this was Irang's show with his 6 backup dancers.
I know.
It was
and he had the most lines too. I think because he was really the only one that could do the vocals.
I really like Irang. This is not a shock to anybody who's watched any episode of this.
Any episode period.
He, I think, is so aware of what his talents are, which I think is so smart. And I think will help him in the long run.
Exactly.
He got in this group and he was like, well, I know I fit the concept, so I might as well do everything I can so that I can stand out. And I was like...
when he came in and he was like, so have you guys figured out the dance break yet? And they're like, no, we haven't even got there. And he literally is like, okay, so I'm just going to have to do that too. So I should probably start choreographing that. Like, he already knows, like, I think it's a better showing for him. I think if he stayed in Sugar Rush Ride... he would constantly be compared.
In Sugar Rush Ride, he would have been overshadowed easily, and he still ended up getting benefit points. So, like, he would have, like, spoiler alert, he's safe. So he would have been, I think this has ended up being better for him than actually being in Sugar Rush Ride.
I think so, too.
Other than, like, I'm sure he wanted to work with, like, Songmin and
people,
taeseon and everybody. But Bumjoon, I think, also does very well in this.
I think they're the two strongest. Bumjoon...
and Hyeontae even, I think, does well. I even think Kaden does really well in this. I think Kaden's a little sloppy in the, like, dancing, but, like, his lines are really good.
This is Kaden's best. It is a strong group. I mean, because even, like, Kyuhyun and Sangwoo sounded great, too.
Daniel is so awkward in this, and I feel so bad, but, like, I don't know what happened. I felt like the last week, or semester 3...
I think it's the height thing. I think he thinks he's too tall for this concept.
Also, they put him in a jacket that does not fit him. Yeah. I need the costuming department to look at themselves in the mirror and do some self-reflection.
I know they
set this boy up. His jacket wasn't even like sitting on his shoulders correctly because it was like too, I think, tight. So it was like bunching up.
This is another episode where I feel like performances don't match visually with what we're listening to and with the music.
I liked the dance break. I think this is probably the first dance break on the show where it sounded like the song and it didn't sound like it was just like random beats thrown in out of nowhere. But I appreciate that Kang Il-rang did the choreography, especially on a time crunch, because they hadn't come up with anything, which is psychotic. But I think they were just like waiting for the rest of their group to get there. I think
they're waiting for the group, yeah.
But also, like, that sucks too. Like,
because then you'll have 1 or 2 days.
Yes,
and it makes you look bad
like,
on the midterms.
Yes.
It does feel like they're just making decisions to survive. They're like, we know we have these 4 days.
Yeah.
I might as well just look bad because I don't want to exert so much effort into, you know what I mean? Like, they're just making calls to keep themselves, like, sane and healthy.
The only thing I was going to say is that I don't think the choreo for the
song in general.
No, the dance break really fit the rest of the regular choreo. I felt like it was like too sexy. Whereas like the dream choreo is so cute. Like it's so bright, young concept.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was like they did like a hip thrust at one point, and I was like, this isn't that song. I appreciate you tried wrong, but it doesn't really. Finally, 2,600 points.
So
which I felt is low.
That's really low. And I do wonder if it's just... I wonder if it's just like the girls in the audience are just like, just not our concept.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I don't... This is objectively better than Coco Bop. For that reason, Coco Bop... It should not have been a tie with Coco Bop.
Yeah. But I wonder if it was a little rigor so that way no one actually had to like not get... So that everyone got a benefit. Every group had an opportunity to get a benefit. For benefit. It's because we've already been gagged by one tie. That was like exciting. And this wasn't exciting because it's like... This wasn't exciting.
And also tie for last. And also like objectively, it's probably simply that Coco Bop had more popular members that carried them farther. And I think if they didn't have those members, they would have been number 5. Yeah. Because Coco Bop is probably the worst performance on the show messy. So far. It's so bad.
They're like not dancing together at all.
I hate to talk about Coco Bop again, but it's not good. Finally, we get Not Today.
So they are the shining group.
These are the members. Hyungun, Hyunwoo, Hanbin, Myungjae, Jino, Minso. Sunghyun. Yep.
We know them. We know the show. What did you think of this one? They didn't really have any backstory. They were like, oh, they're the ones that everyone was like, oh, that's great teamwork. Teamwork.
Yes.
I think it did feel like they had the strongest teamwork.
It's also like a team anthem.
It's a
the
team
song
anthem. The
itself
song is
like
a rallying
we
song.
are like in
Yes,
this together.
And the choreography is set up that way. So they got lucky.
They do have the best dance break.
Yeah. And I think because the team was created in that kind of like a little bit of desperation where it's like we really didn't want Bomjun and this song was still available, that they were like, let's just eat it up. And they were very cohesive. Like I felt like people sounded differently than how we usually hear them, but they did it because it was a cohesive concept they wanted to sound like.
This is the best. Okay, this is objectively the best BTS cover I've seen on a survival show.
Better than Butterfly?
Oh, fuck.
I was like, wow, you hated Brian that much? He couldn't even give Butterfly its flowers?
No, you're right. Butterfly is my favorite.
Yeah.
But like
in Fantasy Boys.
In Fantasy Boys, yes.
It is
Because
the
they've
best
done
so
one
far.
every challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I don't know. I wanted them to get first because I don't think Sugar Rush... I think this is better than Sugar Rush Ride. I still don't know if I would be like, this is my favorite performance.
No,
I've
I think
ever
Monster's
seen.
still the best performance they've done in the show.
Yeah, I think Monster was still better. But I think this was the best this week.
Yeah.
And it was a little bummer that they got second.
They got second, yeah.
And I think it truly, that one I think genuinely is because they have like, Sugar Rush Ride had like 4 people in like the top 6.
I appreciated Hanbin being more growlier. I just didn't like it. I think he did it as like this is the concept of the song, and I also want to show that I can do it. There was just a bit of it that I was like, your voice is like melodic than what you're doing right now. So it's just like I appreciate what you're doing, but it's just not my cup of tea.
This song was perfect. What Myungjae had to do in this song was perfect for his voice.
Yes, it's perfect for his voice.
He's gotten so lucky in what he's gotten to do on the show.
Know.
Because his voice is so specific.
Yeah, he keeps finding the perfect song to the perfect parts in the songs to do it, yeah.
Absolutely. And his hair looked great.
Yeah.
Not the point of what we're talking about, but his hair looked great.
Where's that?
Because they were the ones who were like, we want a powerful concept.
Yes.
So they went for power. Who is your top?
Probably Jinho, honestly.
Jinho?
He sounded really great. Songhyun actually really sounded good too. And he has been really good vocals throughout the show, but he was wearing a little black tank top under that jacket. And he has like this beautiful golden brown hair right now.
Yeah.
That I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
It does. I would say mine is probably Myungjae.
Myungjae.
He like turns it on.
Yeah.
Because he seems so like chill.
Yeah.
And so it's so wild for him to be like, rah, rah.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
I don't really have a weakest.
I don't either. Genuinely. I was looking at the list and I don't think
I would say Minso maybe because the vocals seemed a little too reaching also at the top of his range.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been my only thing.
In order, the rank is Sugar Rush Ride.
So everyone gets benefits.
Everyone gets benefits. Not today. And then they get to save. They get to benefit 3 people. So, Hyunwoo, who was the leader, chose Jinho, Hyungun, and Sunghyun. He did not choose himself.
He did not choose himself. These are based on like they were the lowest ranked out of everyone.
Yeah, that was how they decided to pick it. Energetic was next, and they got to choose 2 people. So Hyunbin chose Doohyun and Jaemin. And then Coco Bop and My First and Last tied for last place, or 4th, whatever. So they each got to save 1 person. So Coco Bop chose Mother Yuma to save.
Mother Yuma.
Another great episode for Yuma.
Oh, yeah.
And Yuma did not perform in this episode, but honestly was giving a performance. And then My First and Last saves Wrong, which is...
That would have been the only acceptable...
I would have been so mad if they had chosen...
Yes, none of the leaders chose themselves. I think Bumjin and Kaesol were the 2 that felt like most likely that they would have done.
I felt like Kaesol, I thought actually Bumjoon was more likely than Kaesol, only because I think
He was
Kaesol
the-
was like, I'm
fine.
I'm very high ranking. Although,
Oh God, look at their.
I'm not kidding. If Irang had not been in that group, it would have been genuinely bad. Unwatchable.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the official rankings, and I will be doing flashcards at the side of the screen when Adam announces the names.
Yes.
Because I remembered I did this. I would do this in the Boys Planet eliminations. I didn't do it for this one because we weren't really sure how invested we were going to be with these boys. But I think now that we're getting only rid of 5, and there are people out there that are like, I don't know who's who yet. So it'll just be a nice visual aid for everyone. So.
Okay, so there are 27 that we're taking into the semifinals. It'll be 28 because they're going to produce or pick and save. But 27 seats on the stage. So starting from 26, we get Hyungun, 20, which is, I felt like low. But I guess probably because he didn't get benefits. That's my guess. 25 is Kaden. 24 is Bumjoon. 23 is Hanbin.
What the fuck
That
is
was
going
crazy.
on? So essentially his 15,000 points from last week
Just fully carried him to third
to
spot.
third place.
He dropped 20 spots. I don't know.
I don't understand these points
Girl.
because they were like, the points this episode will be 4 times
the mathematics degree one needs to understand.
What?
22 is Hyunwoo. So very good because
He did
they were nervous because he didn't save himself, and he was like low ranking. 21 was Daehyeon. 20 is Sunghyun. 19 is Irang, so he's finally in the top 20. 18 is Yuma.
Yuma.
Which was funny because they were like, this trainee cries a lot. And then they were like,
everyone like, oh, it's Gino.
Gino and Jaemin, and then it was Yuma. 17 is Myungjae. 16 is Jaemin. 15 is Jino. 14 is Hikari. 13 is Minso.
Crazy to think that Hikari was at once third after the second mission. He was third place.
I know. And Minso last time he was in the top 12 too.
Minso was in the top. It's so funny. I mean, like, we'll have more reactions of people dropping, and Hanbin is like, I dropped 20 points. Why is everyone so mad about their ranking?
Well, speaking of people who are mad, number 12 is Kaesol. You have to put up the graphic I told you.
Yeah.
We need to talk about Kaesol.
Every episode
we need to talk about Kaesol.
Kaesol was mad.
Okay.
Visibly.
I like an aspect of Kaesol that I do like, wearing his emotions on his sleeve.
And he said that. He's like,
and they do this thing.
Myself.
They like make a comment. The producers like made a comment where they were like, he's gonna have to control that if he wants to be an idol. But also, like, and I understand that is idol culture.
Yes.
I also understand that, like, that's also not how human beings work.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we need to, like, reassess if that's what idols should be doing. I understand, like, you want to show your best self at all times, but, like, to some extent it is unrealistic. But I also understand that, like, Kaesol's very dramatic.
Yeah.
So there's probably, like, an in-between somewhere that's a happy medium that we need to go to. But I kind of was gooped and gagged that he was like, I used to not care about the rank. And then just didn't finish talking, and they were like,
well, I guess he has a lot of emotions running through his mind right now.
congratulations.
Let's give it up for Kaesol.
Pissed. It was amazing. 11 is hyeontae, which was also funny because, you know, was like, it's hyeontae. Hyeontae dropped. Oh, hyeontae dropped. It's so funny.
I don't want him to change, and I want him to be. It's
because I know that they're friends too.
Yes.
So who was it that called him? Wasn't it Gyure called Hyeontae Hyung? RJ had an existential crisis.
Hyeontae what?
Hyeontae who? Yeah, Hyeontae dropped from 4 to 11, which I do think is kind of crazy.
That Gyure is higher than Hyeontae? Absolutely.
Yes.
That is
so
crazy.
number 10 is Gyure. Number 9 is Santa.
I mean, there is no rhyme or reason what's going on in the show anymore. Listen.
We're just throwing darts at a dartboard.
They're just throwing numbers up there.
I think this list was AI generated. Like the order of there's no, like this makes no sense.
Randomizer,
absolutely.
List randomizer. Yeah. Listen, am I happy Santa's back? Absolutely.
Of course I am. How did this happen?
But how did it happen? It makes no sense. It's so crazy.
I'm so confused. They had to have changed the percentage that audience vote matters. It makes no sense. Listen, I love Santa. 8 is Daeyeon. 7 is Lingchi. God, I am so anytime they show Lingchi, I'm just like,
and they did it again. He did that again. He practiced a Korean speech.
This is what I said to RJ. I was like, if Santa wants more not even in person, but just like more Korean votes, he has to do the thing that Lingchi's doing, where he like is seen practicing and trying to learn Korean.
I'm just saying.
I agree with what you're going to say, which is that you think it's probably happening, but Lingchi is and they are including it. Lingchi is specifically trying to do it in front of people so it will get used, and it is to his benefit. He just went up a position.
Yeah.
Because they just want to see you at the very least trying.
Yeah.
And then you have to get your pronunciation perfect, but. Like, they think it's so charming that Lingchi is like, 안녕하세요, 감사합니다. Yeah. Like, they love it.
Yeah.
He's also cute, so that helps. But so is Santa. Number 6 is Hyunbin. Number 5 is Wooseok, who went up 10 points.
That's so crazy.
But for what? I mean...
But for what?
I don't understand how this happened. This one, I don't understand. America, explain. I like Wooseok. I do. How is he 5th? When are these online votes pulled from? Number 4 is, then we just have the top 4 just from fucking Sugar Rush Ride. So Hikaru is 4, taeseon is 3, junwon is 2, and songmin is 1.
And they did it again. They showed junwon, like, we'll never get first. I am just fully sensing they're going to...
We as a community need to zhanghao junwon.
We're zhanghaoing junwon. And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that's what they're building up. Which would be so dumb of them to just, like, do the exact same thing. You know what I mean? But I think it's just how it's panned out.
And then 27 is Hayato.
America's sweetheart, Hayato.
Like, 3 people clapped. Because they thought it was going to be probably Doohyun. They thought it was probably going to be Doohyun.
They were going to be like, it's going to be Doohyun, and then producer's pick will be Seokheep, because they both were great and energetic.
Correct. And then that's where the episode ended, because they felt this is what I'm so annoyed by. They were like, we're going to tease who the producer saves. So if you go on to vote right now, you can vote for any of those 5 people that are left.
Yeah.
Even though they're definitely gone. They already did the semifinals, and they're already available to watch on the MBC YouTube channel.
Why even have this?
Genuinely, I wish that there was no live voting, because then I'd be like, okay, it would be like watching Drag Race.
Yes.
Like, I have no say in what's going on. I'm still can enjoy it, and I can be like, and you can craft whatever the fucking narrative you want,
girl.
Because then you don't have to rigor mortis everything so that like Santa drops 30 positions and then goes back up 20.
Yeah,
like,
do whatever.
This show is truly crafted by goblins. I just like ghouls are making this show. I am shocked at how awful this is. And I'm watching every week. I'm eating it up. I don't know what to tell you.
It's so bad. They should just remove the voting.
There's no
remove the voting.
There's no consistency, and they have changed the voting procedure every semester, and it is so infuriating to watch.
To be like, then just make it up.
And like, Boys Planet was wild; it was its own beast. But like, they purposefully were like, we're trying to be consistent with this, so we look transparent. It seems like it's above board. Blah 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 blah. They tried to obviously like skew narratives in the way that they wanted to skew it, and that is totally up to them. Like, they are making the show. That's how these things work, right? It happens on every reality television show ever. So I can't begrudge them that. But like, that was the only way it really did feel like that they were like trying to adjust what was going on in the show. This show, girl, they're dropping ballots in ballot boxes, honey. They're using.
Some votes aren't getting picked up. They're still there.
They're still there at the voting machines. They're hanging chads, girl. I mean, like, Florida, rigor mortis. It's awful. This is so bad. This is bad.
Frederick just almost knocked
like
down the camera.
Jesus, the whole voting thing is bad. I think that I am enjoying like the show as a concept.
Yeah,
I just think it's like wild to be this incompetent.
Yeah,
it is truly. I feel like it's a bunch of 5-year-olds on typewriters writing the show. It's wild. I can't believe what I'm watching half the time. Like when they just showed Sugar Rush writing it, I was like,
what are we doing?
Why are you showing this again? You already, when you made that episode, knew how it was going to turn out. So if you really felt like, well, we have to explain why they were the best so they get first place, then just save them for the... What are you doing? What are you doing? Please explain. I'm going to my 12.
Number 12. Yumam's the word.
Yuma?
Bob's your uncle. They ask Kaden, how does he feel? Do you have a message to say to your hyungs in Coco Bop?
Oh, yes.
And he was like, I miss you guys. And Yuma
burst into tears.
As if like a mother has just like...
As if she was watching like her soldier in war who was like, I can't wait to come home for Christmas and see you, Mom. When Kaden was announced as 25... Everyone was
on their feet.
Even the producers were like,
they all love Kaden. They all want to take care of Kaden because he's 13. I genuinely think Kaden's parents signed him up for this to be like you'll have a fun, like, there's this thing where like we'll send you to like a singing and dancing camp in Korea. So you can, like learn about your heritage. As someone who's Korean in America, like, that would be great. I feel
you like choir in 7th grade. You remember?
Yeah. So number 11 is a little mysterious to me because I don't know from Daeyeon or Seoki who's safe.
Oh, girl.
So 11 is whoever is safe between Seoki and Daeyeon.
Again, the show is bad. Just want to remind everybody. They're not going to save Daniel again.
Yeah. It's anyway.
That's 11.
They're each of the one in 11. Number 10 is Songmin. Number 9 is Minso. Number 8 is Daeyeon. My man.
Jesus.
Ooh.
Stop.
Number 7 is Kum Jino. Number 6 is Lee Han-bin.
I really like Jino.
Me too. He's a really fun character.
They have no people that they have been like, oh, these are comedic characters on the show. Where like Boys Planet had Ungi, Haruto, Kim Junyeon, like a roster of people they would go to for like funny bits.
Jino is the closest one, I think, for reactions.
And it's like...
And it's not even...
Nothing.
Yeah. Number 6 is Lee Han-bin. Number 5 is Santa. Number 4 is Hikaru. Number 3 is Hyunbin. I didn't say it, but I think he did a really great job. Leading, energetic, and this is the best that he sounded to.
K-pop idols get their little foreheads out.
Woo! Something changes.
Woo! The tectonic plates.
Number 2 is junwon, and number 1 is Lingchi, because he is my cutie Lingchi. Mashi soyo.
Okay, my 12. Number 12 is Irang. You can get mad in the comments.
Oof.
Number 11 is Hyunbin. Number 10 is Songmin. We both have him at 10.
Yeah.
I dropped him that far.
You gotta give me something.
I never felt this way about Hanbin.
He's getting an easy edit.
Yes. Like he's not even getting an edit. They have not given him a narrative on the show other than every time we go up to like head to head, he's gonna get first. After that first one, we were with Santa. Not even like Just like the amount of time they gave Hanbin something because they clearly
yes.
wanted Hanbin in the group. And for good reason. Hanbin's great.
Yes.
But they aren't doing that on this show with their person who you can tell they want to be in this group.
Yes, they've given more to junwon.
Yes.
Like junwon has fully had the narrative.
Yes.
But Songmin is who they are positioning to be number one. And even with Hanbin, like he was number one for a reason.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not really fully getting like why Songmin is number one for a reason.
Right.
Because the backstage of the narrative stuff, it should be like junwon. I think he's the closest one that they've fully explained who deserves to be in number one.
Yeah.
Out of everyone here.
It's so strange. Number 9 is Jaemin. Number 8 is Santa. Number 7 is Myungjae. He's back on my list. I thought he killed it. I gotta be really honest. I thought he was great. Number 6 is Bumjun.
I was considering putting Bumjun on mine too.
I just thought he did so well.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that he was big enough to, give it to Yurang.
I do think
I thought he was good in it too.
I do think like what I said with Jay last time in Boys Planet, I think Bumjun would benefit from being in a group to like be a team, be a team player in that way.
And I don't think the Bumjun thing last week, I don't know if it's teamwork bait. Like
because they're like, well, I don't know. Because I think they were like, I don't want to be in a team.
There's something about the editing of Bumjun that reminds me of the editing they gave Gunnook. And they are two different people.
Oh, yeah.
But just the way that it's like, they're both cocky and sure of themselves. But I'm like, but are they? Like, is that really what we're giving? I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. 5 is Hanbin. 4 is hyeontae.
hyeontae. Adam, there was a little bit of footage that was shown on Twitter this week.
There was. It's true.
Of hyeontae
and Gyure. Hanging out. Just pals being pals.
Hanging out, pals being pals on like a swinging...
A swing. Yeah. It's called a swing.
Like a swinging bench situation.
Yeah.
But they were just so cute together, holding each other. Show us this. What?
The fact that the show...
There are friendships that we're not seeing.
I can't believe they haven't done any... they've done no variety. They've done no,
They're like YouTube backstage whatever, but I'm like, you have room in your episode.
They don't translate any of them.
Yeah. You have room in your episode to even just do a little bit
I know you guys are doing things with them. It's so
weird.
Toddlers on typewriters. Number 3 is Taeseon. Number 2 is Lingchi, and number 1 is junwon.
Oh, we've swapped.
We swapped again.
Yep.
Anytime they show Lingchi, I get butterflies. I don't know what it is. I'm not even
honestly, just looking at his face, it makes you ooh.
He looks like maybe it's just because he looks like a baby discovering the world. I don't know what it is,
yes.
But it triggers my evolutionary I must protect the child energy. You see, it's so sweet.
I think
I would also gag at a position 1 Lingchi after a position 1 Zhanghao.
Oh yeah,
that would be wild.
Goo goo eyes, goo goo gaga eyes.
He's so cute. I can't even help it. I don't know what it is. I can't even explain it. I don't know. I only feel it about him though.
I know. Isn't that crazy? There's
where
no
I'm just
yes.
Cutieful. He's cutieful.
And that's it. That's the episode. God.
Girl.
What in the Messiana?
We get
Grande?
original songs next week.
I know.
Which I swear to God, if they sound anything like most of these fucking dance breaks have sounded like, I'm gonna launch myself into the ocean.
But in the semifinals, it's giving voice. It's giving the voice. They are now officially, each producer gets one of the songs. They draft the team, actually train them in the songs. Because there's a little clip that Soyeon was like, and I wonder if they actually wrote them too. Because Soyeon made a comment that was like, I wouldn't tell people I wrote the song based on that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was yeah. I don't know.
I hope it's Queen Card. What if it was just Queen Card, but now they have to sing it as boys? My boob and booty's hot spotlight. I'm star, Queen Card. I'm top. I'm twerking on the runway. I'm a queen card. I love that song so much. Guys, stream Queen Card.